Some trilogies endure because they tell sprawling tales of adventure. Others endure because they cut to the soul of loyalty, betrayal, and identity. The Infernal Affairs Trilogy belongs to the latter. Criterion's Blu-ray release not only restores these films in pristine quality, but it also presents them in packaging that deepens their themes, a tactile reminder that the stories aren't just about cops and criminals, but about blurred lines in a city that never sleeps. The trilogy begins with Internal Affairs, released in 2002, where undercover cop Chan Wing Yang, played by Tony Leung, infiltrates the triads, while Mo Lau Kin Ming, played by Andy Lau, rises within the police force. Now, their character arcs are mirror images, men who have swapped roles so deeply that they risk losing their sense of self. In Internal Affairs 2, the prequel, we see the roots of corruption and loyalty as family ties and gang politics from the destinies of both men. And by Internal Affairs 3, the fallout of secrets and paranoia brings the saga to its tragic close, a story not of victory but of irreversible loss. Now, the key scenes that still haunt today is the rooftop confrontations, the whispered cell phone calls, the silent elevator moments where their fate feels inevitable. The tension isn't in explosions, but it's in the quiet gestures, the flicker of fear across a face, and the desperate effort to hold onto a lie. In Internal Affairs 2, the bloody betrayal in the rain captures both inevitability and heartbreak. In Internal Affairs 3, Lau's unraveling sanity becomes as gripping as any action set piece. The human mind itself becomes a battlefield. Thematically, the trilogy is about duality, moral compromise, and the impossibility of escaping fate. It asks how much of our identity is chosen and how much is shaped by circumstance. It also explores the idea of living double lives, a mask worn so long that a person underneath no longer knows who they are. Now, these themes resonated far beyond Hong Kong, so much so that even Martin Scorsese, The Departed, won him an Oscar by reimagining this very story. The cinematography is atmospheric, painting Hong Kong in neon haze and shadowed interiors. The camera work often frames characters against blurred lights, suggesting they are always on uncertain ground. Now, that's why the Criterion packaging is so effective. If you look, the cover art uses a muted yellow-grey palette surrounding Tony Leung and Andy Lau with blurred, clouded imagery. I will also say the disc art is equally impressive, which is rare in today's market, each disc carrying artwork that reflects the tone of its respective film. Remove the disc and the interior artwork reveals a wash of bokeh lights and look like the old Hong Kong street lamps. It's not just the decorations, it's also the metaphor reinforcing the idea that the world outside is blurred, colorful, and deceptive, just like the lives these men actually lead. Few releases capture a trilogy's atmosphere so well through packaging alone. Now, critics praise the first film as a masterpiece of modern crime cinema, which is tight, emotional, and rich with suspense. Now, some argue that Internal Affairs 2 suffers from the prequel sprawl, while Internal Affairs 3 leans too heavily on fragmented timelines. But together, they all form a whole that is devastating and complete. Now, at the box office, the first film was a hit in Hong Kong and across Asia, revitalizing the crime genre. The sequels didn't match its numbers, but as a trilogy, their cultural impact became undeniable, influencing filmmakers worldwide. The Criterion Blu-ray offers sharp high-definition transfers, clear Cantonese audio, and the selection of extras, interviews such as the cast and crew, critical essays, and behind-the-scenes features. But it's the packaging that elevates this edition. The matte artwork, the disc visuals, and the immersive design that makes the collectors feel they're holding not just movies, but the essence of Hong Kong neo in their hands. In conclusion, Internal Affairs endures because it's just not about heroes or villains. It's about flawed men trapped by choices and identities that they can't escape. The Criterion Blu-ray preserves this tragedy while presenting it with artwork and design that mirrors the film's themes of clouded morality. For collectors, it's one of the finest packages Criterion has ever assembled. The Criterion Blu-ray set's packaging is understated yet rich in symbolism. Instead of textured or embossed finish, it uses a flat 2D graphic art on cardboard, but done with such thoughtful design that it still feels alive. The front cover places Tony Leung and Andy Lau's faces behind blurred cloud overlays, representing their conflicting identities and obscured roles. Now, across the set, each of the three films carries its own disc art that echoes the themes while maintaining visual cohesion. When you remove the disc, the interior liner reveals a sea of bokeh starlight, evoking the feel of Hong Kong street lamps viewed through rain and distance. It's subtle, atmospheric, and aligns with the trilogy's motif of blurred morality and fractured perception. It's a rare in modern releases to see this level of disc artwork considerations. Criterion has used the disc surfaces to deepen the story resonance rather than leaving them blank or purely functional. I would say these design decisions work because they don't distract. In fact, they enhance. The blur, the layered faces, the interior lights, they actually speak to the trilogy's core, such as identity lost, roles reversed, truth obscured. Even if the artwork is flat, the symbolism gives its dimensional impact. Now, for audiences, new and old, it's a reminder that cinema doesn't just entertain. In fact, it leaves questions that follow you long after the credits fade. Now, this trilogy is a must-watch.